Welcome back to Delayed Response. I'm doing a video from the park today because I thought, why not? Got some conspiracy videos that I know you're going to enjoy. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it.
Because I remember there were stories that said his plane got shot out of the sky, and then there was some Twitter story saying that he landed in Russia. I was like, what is going on with this? But they wanted a regime change, and they got it.
How hard was it for him to get?
You know, that's the problem. If you want to go down this rabbit hole and have a conversation with like Dave Smith about it,
He knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll take you down a rabbit hole.
He's an interesting guy, huh?
He knows a lot.
He's very smart, huh?
Very, very smart. He knows a lot. And he like legitimately knows a lot. He's not bullshitting about what he knows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's why he gets these guys. They get cocky and they want to have like Chris Cuomo want to have a debate with them, and he just trounces them
Yeah, he
because
cooked
like
them.
he knows what he's talking about. He's not lying, right? The difference between a guy like any of these CNN type media
Yeah.
darling types who pushed the fucking COVID narrative and push every mainstream narrative. Those guys, that's a very specific kind of mindset.
Puts the forehead in there, and the shaman
Very true.
taught him a sound frequency said with symbols. Jerry has shared it with me and has asked me never ever to repeat it. If Jerry
Why are you
got
teasing
his
us?
forehead and did this chanting of this frequency just correctly, he would literally disappear and would go to another dimension, the dimension of where the gods live, and hopefully come back.
I was going to ask, can you come back?
His wife is 100 feet away. She is watching the entire scene. Jerry gets down on his knees. He leans forward with his forehead. He puts it in the rock. Many, many times he says this frequency. She sees him disappear,
Oh,
literally.
my God.
He goes to a white place. It's like a laboratory. It has a hard floor. And then this male voice comes and starts talking to him. What happens next with Jerry, we can at least share his words.
Said that I was on another world, that it was outside of my universe. So I wanted to understand how that's possible. And he says, well, there are many universes, and you have just passed from yours into ours. All right, so where is this universe? He said, it wouldn't do me any good to even try to explain it to you. I asked him how I'd gotten there. Well, apparently, whoever they are had been very curious about the nature of the universe. They tried to recreate a model of the universe. He was talking about how they were colliding particles, and somehow a spark had occurred, and the spark didn't go away. Instead, it started growing. And as it grew, it started accumulating and creating more of itself on its own. It was quite large, and they had created another universe. They weren't planning on doing this. And it had evolved, and it evolved quite rapidly. And I said, well, I don't understand this because we think the universe is billions and billions of years old. He says, well, where you are, you measure time much differently. Time is different in every universe. And when he was telling me about this, they were really very afraid that it was going to continue growing and it would just overwhelm them, and then what would happen to them. And that what they had discovered is that they were inside of someone else's universe, just like we were inside of theirs. He says it's just layers and layers. There's very little that separates one from the other. And they had learned that life had started to populate throughout that universe.
They had made.
Yeah, they were fascinated by this, curious as can be how this was possible. And this doorway that I had gone through was something that they had put in place. They had these doorways throughout our universe in various places. They had been sending scientists in there to study the universe, because this was a whole new realm of science for them to explore. And when they started discovering life in there, well, they were pretty shocked. Apparently, I'm not the only person who'd ever come through that doorway. And apparently these doorways go to other places on this planet as well as to other planets. The only thing that I can figure is that moving from one point to another was outside the dynamic of time altogether, that these doorways are instantaneous passageways to other places.
This video is insane. Have you seen it?
Get this. Scientists in Russia have confirmed that they now know what happens to you after you die. I'm not talking about your body, that's just fucking worm food, we all know that. I mean,
every other day,
your spirit, if you like, your consciousness.
Every other day something comes up. Okay, let's hear what's happening.
I read it on the Russian version of Google last night called Yandex. I don't know why this is not all over fucking media right now. I've not slept a wink. So, if you don't know, Russia's largest tech company, Vlad Tech, have spent the last 10 years creating an interface to your brain that somehow embeds a code into every atom of you. So when you die, they can then locate that code within you, and it's like an Apple AirTag, but on a more expensive, grander level. So they can basically see where your electricity, spirit, and memories go to. And they call it a SIC code, soul identity code or something like that. And what they discovered was fucking mind-blowing.
I'll stop it there, but essentially he ends by saying that they found a signal in a different galaxy that's like 100 billion light years away. I've been seeing this video everywhere and we need to talk about it. This thing got so much engagement. People are talking about how it's legit, how it's not legit. While it sounds cool that they can embed code into every cell like an Apple AirTag, let's think about that. Or even when he talks about the signal being found in a galaxy 100 billion light years away. If nothing moves faster than the speed of light within this reality, how long would it take to receive that signal? This Vlad Tech company out of Russia, just go Google, does Vlad Tech exist? And that's my point. Like, this video has been shared so much. I have seen it on TikTok, I have seen it on Twitter, I have seen it on Instagram. It just takes a simple going to his profile to see short stories, the narcissist, the pathological liar, Jim Bob. People are asking like AI, like, hey, is this true? You don't need to outsource to AI. You just need to ask yourself, does this sound true? If it doesn't sound true, maybe go to the profile, click on it, and see who is talking about this. Media literacy, media literacy. We don't fall for hype and emotion. We stay balanced. We listen to intuition. I love you guys. There is so much nonsense out there. You need to stay balanced so you can listen to truth.
I second that message. Stay balanced. Stay balanced always.
You guys know that the reason that we can't save Gaza and we don't have health care and we don't have free education and life is misery is all for the same reason, right? Everything is connected. We realize that, right? It's all because there's a small class of people, the uber rich, who believe that they should get all of the money and all of the rest of us aren't even people, and that we should just go in a hole somewhere. And like, how can you blame them? I mean, the last few hundred years, you know, their ancestors thought that they could own human beings, and they're literally still living off of the profit of doing that. These people got used to 400 years of free labor, and they still think that it should be free. They think that they should never have to work and that we should have to work, that we are beasts of burden for them. It's literally what they think. Capitalists and the rich are so stoked for right now because the status quo right now is literally so close to the times of slavery. It's never been closer. We literally have nothing, and we don't even realize it. That's the best part. They literally have us fighting over crumbs while they're eating the entire buffet, you know?
That one deserves to be replayed, but I'm not going to do that to you, so go replay that one and listen to it again. Free Palestine.
You've said that the devil runs Hollywood.
I did say that.
You still believe it?
Let me ask you a question. Didn't we just have Christmas?
Yes.
What were the films premiered for Christmas? Name the titles you can think of now.
I can't really think of any actual Christmas films. No, you're not really seeing Christmas movies right now.
Not really seeing. And then
There's no
Nostradamus
Grinch,
too. What
there's
is that?
no- yeah.
I can't even say it. It's so evil. That the
Brought-
vampire movie?
Yeah.
If you look at the marketing for the new Christmas vampire movie, Vlad, it doesn't say. It says, darkness, and So, to answer your question, the rating system in Hollywood is what it is. So you have G, PG, rated R, all of that. Which one of all those ratings, Vlad, is the most profitable?
G.
G.
Yeah.
What percentage of G films are made every year?
30%.
Something like that.
Yep.
I ask you, Vlad, why would the highest profitable rating be only 30%? What are they making in that other 70%, Vlad?
That is a really good point. That is a really good point.
Do you hear about that fucking
What are they
object
doing?
that's
What are
hurtling
they
towards
making?
Earth at like 130,000 miles an hour?
No, that might solve all our problems.
Some intergalactic object that's hurt. There's this guy, Avi Loeb. He's a professor at Harvard that believes it might be an alien probe.
Wow.
And he was talking about the odds of this thing being in the trajectory that it is, entering into our solar system in a direct path with Earth. The odds are extremely low. And at the place where it's doing it, it's when the Earth is the opposite side of the sun, so it's coming from behind the sun. And it's so it makes it difficult to detect. And that this object is in a direct line to come to Earth in 2027.
Do they have a trajectory of where it's going to land?
I don't think they totally know that yet. I think they're trying to calculate whether or not it's actually going to hit Earth or come near Earth or pass by Earth or what it is. Like
why do they think it's an alien satellite or whatever?
Well, there's this guy, Avi Loeb, this professor that I'm discussing. He also had an analysis of another object that passed by Earth a few years back that they named, and they said that this thing had a very bizarre metallic sort of a look to it that he did not think, based on the shape of it and the way it was traveling, that it was natural. So he thought that that could have been some sort of an alien craft as well. I don't know.
Everybody on the earth is from someplace else. None of us were born and hatched here. None of us as souls were created here. We all come from another time and place. My understanding is that all of the conscious spirit that's in this universe came through different black holes from other universes in time and space, which we simply aren't privy to. So we're ancient. There's no age to us. We weren't created with the universe. We came through another universe, through the black holes, to this place that we now call our universe, to continue to evolve. That's everyone, virtually everyone.
That contact at age 14, was that contact time travel in any way by the Andromedans to prepare you psychologically for your future contacts?
Yes, all the contacts is where they had to come back, because they came here in 1980, so they had to go back in time, and that's what they've done with a lot of people. Even the Pleiadians, to some degree, I understand, have done that, where they go back and they start preparing people early for responsibilities that they will have in the future, as opposed to hitting them all at once and saying, "Here you go," just dumping it on your lap, and you're saying, "Oh my God, what is this? My whole reality." So there are increments of preparation that have occurred and continue to occur. And this is occurring with humanity on a whole, in similar fashion, where information is being disseminated in little bits and pieces of ground roots. People are starting to come together and really sensing change, and they're slowly but surely being brought to a level that when the real truth hits them, they'll be able to experience it, handle it, and assimilate it for our good,
Now, in 1985, your contacts with Visayas and Morny began to become more frequent. Please describe the nature of your contacts and the content of your discussions and the ways in which you communicate with them.
We don't have enough time for that. But, we have put together a series 1 and series 2 of this information. In 1985, it really started to, the information, they were physical. It evolved around the Greys, the Earth agenda, our spirituality, religions, Earth governments, Earth history, our genetic creations, the 22 different races that have actually colonized the Earth at one time or another, and who we have within us genetic racial memories of, within our DNA. And present time, things that are occurring now, and probable, I stress probable future events, because the future is being created every day, and it's being changed every day, based on our thoughts. So, I mean, just to sum up it is, I would need 10 hours.
Okay.
You know, that's not something I could very simply go into.
Okay.
But the series of 8 and so on and so forth does in fact cover that.
Okay.
All that information.
All right. Now, how does the symbol they gave you play a role in your contacts with them?
Simple.
Apparently, they gave you a symbol that you use when you
want to talk to them.
Want to talk to them.
The symbol was something that I chose.
Do they ever talk amongst themselves in a language you don't understand?
They do, and it's not really a language. They're telepathic, and yes, they'll stand in circles when they're talking, and when they do talk, flashes of light where their third eye is, right here, different flashes of colors that we don't even have on our third density spectrum, just appear, and they're just boom, 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 flashing all this color. And it's like instantaneous sentences are being just communicated, and sometimes there's nodding, sometimes there's nodding this way, or sometimes up and down, sometimes there's gestures, but all the time there's just flashes, and their flashes is their language. It's rare that I've been privy to what it is because they happen so fast. I couldn't assimilate it.
So there are some universal gestures then.
Yes. All human beings are very animated. Yes, they smile. They also frown, and they also look very sad when something is distressing them. So they do experience it. They do experience emotions, but not to the degree that we do. After they've had their discussions, one will turn to me. Usually, most of the time it's Morene, and he'll talk to me like I'm talking to you. He'll actually go to the great lengths to speak to me. Or sometimes it's just telepathic. He'll just look at me, and for a while there I wasn't always getting the message because I was so focused on the color that was flashing in front. I was watching that, I was like, wow, this is really amazing. But sometimes I'd have to repeat it. So, but now that novelty has worn off, so now I listen to the message. And Phaseus is almost always telepathic. So that's what they do.
What have they asked you to do in order to help them?
Just to disseminate information. I'm currently in the process of trying to investigate all of the current UFO information that's out there, and what I've had the ability to do is sometimes check it with them. Well, is this true? Is that true? And they've said yes, or they've said no. There is a lot of disinformation out there. So what I've been trying to do is just to assimilate what is real and give it from their perspective of how it affects us. We have a real mess on our hands.
Okay, let's talk about some of that. According to your Andromedan sources, there are 3 groups of extraterrestrials who are involved in very distressing agendas here on Earth. One is the renegade grayskin Zeta Reticulans. Another is the Giza intelligence, formerly of the Pleiades. And a third is the reptilians from Alpha Draconis. Is there another?
Yes.
Okay.
There's the Orion group as well, and there's 141 of them here. And they're from Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, Rigel, and Betelgeuse. From that particular group, that particular area of the star system. There are a lot of agendas here, hidden agendas. And you have to understand that.
Why do I get the feeling like why do I get the feeling like he was telling the truth? Some parts of it I found it truthful. The rest was just a bit meh. I don't know about that. But the part where he was saying the aliens' colors, I don't know. It seemed like he was telling the truth in that part.
Allegedly possessed a computerized algorithm that could predict and orchestrate the deaths of world leaders? According to conspiracy theorists, the former Secretary of State developed this system through a classified State Department program using artificial intelligence. The evidence they point to is chilling.
What?
Salvador Allende's death in Chile, numerous African leaders who opposed U.S. interests, all happening shortly after Kissinger's involvement in their regions. His consulting firm's client list reads like a who's who of global power brokers, with suspicious meetings preceding major political upheavals. Theorists claim his travel schedule eerily matched the timing of opposition leaders meeting unexpected ends through accidents or sudden natural causes. Tech executives allegedly collaborated on this system, analyzing global political patterns to identify problematic individuals for elimination. The most disturbing aspect? His unprecedented longevity and influence spanning decades of American foreign policy. Was Kissinger's power derived from literally controlling who lives and dies on the world stage? The pattern of deaths following his consultations remains unexplained.
This has been concealed for centuries. The real purpose of the Eiffel Tower is something far beyond what you've been told. Most people believe it's nothing more than a symbol of Parisian culture or a product of the industrial era. The truth? The Eiffel Tower was designed as a massive antenna, an instrument for wireless electricity experiments, and its secrets could have revolutionized the world. The year was 1889, and the tower was unveiled at the Paris World's Fair, touted as a temporary exhibit. But here's where it gets strange. The true intent behind this engineering marvel was hidden in plain sight. Nikola Tesla visited Paris in the 1880s. During his stay, he met with Gustave Eiffel and shared his groundbreaking vision for a world powered by free, wireless energy. Tesla had already proven with his Wardenclyffe Tower that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly across vast distances. Eiffel, utterly fascinated by Kessler's revolutionary ideas, took these principles and incorporated them into the design of the Eiffel Tower. This was not just about aesthetics, this was about power, real power. During the tower's construction, strange phenomena were reported. Electromagnetic anomalies, unexplained lights, and strange sparks were seen surrounding the tower. Locals spoke of nighttime experiments, and some even claimed to have witnessed orbs of light dancing around the structure. Why hasn't this been exposed?
Okay, that one might have some truth to it, to be
8
honest.
billion people
are being controlled by 100 families.
Who are these families?
These are the elite oligarchs that control the planet. They literally run us. They tell us what to do, hear, see, smell, taste, touch, feel, where we can go, where we can't go. They're running us, and governments are put in place to work for the people, but they got it flipped, and they got us working for them and telling us what they're going to do to us if we don't listen to them. That's the opposite of what it's supposed to be. The reason why the world it is today, why we have this boot on our neck, it's because of us. We're the problem. The 8 billion are the problem. They're sharks. A shark smells blood, a shark attacks.
Right.
A shark is going to be a shark. How come we as 8 billion people haven't stopped falling for these divide and conquer tactics and stopped fighting each other over the scraps and realize who the real enemy is? While we're fighting each other, they're just cutting up the pie and laughing at us. Left wing, right wing, all the same bird. There's no such thing as a Democrat or Republican. The only thing that does exist, like I say, is a group of elite oligarchs that torture men, women, and children worldwide. That exists. Democrat and Republican doesn't exist.
We cannot hide away from human population growth because, you know, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
I put those two videos next to each other on purpose.
Had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, you know, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
I heard that one before,
What
can't
if I
lie.
told you they genuinely aren't? None of you are seeing the world, and this is scientifically proven. If you don't want to freak the hell out after watching this, just keep scrolling. On the electromagnetic spectrum, our eyes can only see visible light, which is this tiny bit here, 0.0035% of the whole spectrum. So we are blind to over 99% of what is actually going on in the world. And this is a fact. Now you also may or may not know there is a hole in the back of your eyeball where the optic nerve exits the eye. Now this is where it's crazy because yeah, if there was a hole in the back of your eye, you'd see holes everywhere, right? Well, your mind fills in the blanks with memory. So it's basically just creating it from your mind. So everything you see isn't necessarily as real as you think it is. Because there's a part of reality, the light spectrum that we can all see, but a lot of what you see is being interpreted and made up by your mind to simply fill in the blanks. It of course links into the solipsism theory that I've spoken about before, where you are the only person alive, no one around you, me, no one is real, but your mind is filling in the blanks, creating these people so you don't feel so lonely and have an existential crisis. It's similar with hearing as well though, like we do not have good hearing compared to other animals and creatures. There's only a tiny fraction we can hear and the rest of it we are completely deaf to. So the life we're experiencing is just a heavily filtered, potentially fake version of what is actually going on.
So all these people around me are just not there. So does that make us crazy then? If we're imagining these things? I didn't get that last one, I can't lie. If you made it to the end, thank you for being here. If you want to subscribe and help the channel grow, I'd appreciate it. If not, I'll see you in the next video.